Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade's links to the animal activists Aussie Farms. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I've got my stein of coffee and I thought we would have a look at this article because it's very concerning. It's to do with DFAT links from the ag section to the animal activists Aussie Farms. Now if you are not familiar with Aussie Farms, they're an animal rights charity. I think they're quite well known for their map they created, which we'll bring that up here, has every farm here on, there you go, Dominion, on Australia. Now, apparently some of this information may have been results of nefarious means. I can't back that up, I've just heard rumours of that, but, well, let's see what else we have to look. So, you can see there's a lot of issues with activists storming farms. There's a general push against meat and animal product consumption. And, well, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you are well aware that my family and I have gone down the keto path. We've even gone down a carnivore path. I have family members that have cured their diabetes by going on a keto diet and eating animal products. If you look at anyone in YouTube, all the people who are like the vegan activists or the radical vegan YouTubers, they last about 4 to 5 years and then they switch. Then they get too sick, then they get too weak. I'd also argue it has a lot to do with kind of the, well, let's just say crazy activist thinking we're seeing more and more. But what is concerning here is we have another rent-seeking civil servant with a conflict of interest that is going to keep her job, apparently. So let's have a look. Julie Delforce keeps DFAT ag job after investigation on Aussie Farms links. So, this is an exclusive. A senior agricultural official will keep her federal government job despite having business links to controversial animal activist groups Aussie Farms. Now, isn't that a conflict of interest? Just let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Is this a conflict of interest? Remember, these people are civil servants. They're not civil leaders. The Weekly Times can reveal a federal investigation into Dr. Julie Delforce, a senior sector specialist with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade's Agricultural Productivity and Food Security Division, found there was no reason why Dr. Delforce should not remain in her role. DFAT told the Weekly Times it had recently reissued its conflict of interest and alleged misconduct policies. Reissued. I wonder what that means. Updated. It comes after the Weekly Times revealed Dr. Delforce had links to Aussie Farms, the activist group currently under investigation for allegedly breaching the Privacy Act after it launched an interactive satellite map with the addresses and details of almost 6,000 farmers. Dr. Delforce is a co-owner of website design business Sozo Production, which has shared the same post office box as Aussie Farms across 3 states since 2014. Well, interesting. Sozo Productions also built the Animal Liberation ACT website, which helped form the Aussie Farms website. And Dr. Delforce's son Chris is the executive director of Aussie Farms. So, a child that has received all the benefits being brought up by a rent seeker from the civil service is now attacking the industry that supported his family. Just think about that for a moment while I have another shot of my coffee. And there you go. So the Director of Agriculture, Productivity and Food Security, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade's co-owner and Director of Delforce Investments Proprietary Limited, which owns Solo Productions. He's the executive of Animal Farms and a shareholder in the business, and he owns the production. So Animal Liberation, well, there you go. I mean, yeah. How isn't this a conflict of interest? Can someone tell me why? The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Conduct and Ethics Manual, all staff must take reasonable steps to avoid situations where their private, financial, or other interests, or those of immediate family members such as spouses, partners, or dependents could be perceived to conflict with their official duties. Now, do you think his activity could be perceived to conflict with his mother's conflict of duties? Which is fine. He's got no problem. He can keep doing that. His mother just has to give up her role. What's wrong with that? If, you know? Come on. What do you think in the comments, guys? Let me know. A DFAT spokesman said the department had concluded its inquiries into allegations of misconduct relating to Dr. Delforce and was taking all necessary action. Yes, editing documents and changing stuff, perhaps. Dr. Delforce will remain a DFAT employee, and the department has determined there is no reason she could not continue working in the same role, which relates to the provision of technical advice on aspects of Australia's aid program relating to agricultural development, the spokesperson said. Spokesman. So I wonder if they're going to be agricultural aid program. So they're going to hamstring Australia. Oh, I'll zoom out a little bit. They're going to hamstring Australia, but push that aid overseas. Which, you know, I honestly think more countries need to adopt modern farming practices. You know? A lot of what we're being taught about our diet is completely wrong. It's out of date. If ever anyone challenges you on that, just point them in the direction of salt. Look at how the consumption and recommendations for salt intake have changed over time. That can be a good way to wake people up to what they're being told may not necessarily be true, and then there's a rabbit hole going down to learn more and more about the world. But I think salt is a good eye-opener because it's good, it's a lot healthier than we realize, and you can have a lot of illnesses if you don't get enough. Steins of coffee is still questionable. DFAT is refreshing its conduct and ethics manual and recently reissued Chapter 5 and 12 of its Conduct and Ethics Manual, which relates to conflict of interest and managing alleged misconduct. Funny that. Victorian Farmers Federation President David Jonick said it was an absolute disgrace that there was a process that's protected her, yet farmers are not afforded the same. Well, come on. How is this any different from the good old potato rent seekers in WA, the board? I mean, come on. Come on, guys. He said it was a national indictment on our society that claims of cruelty, nothing less than defamation, continue to be publicised while the federal government were able to protect their own employee. If they can protect one employee, and there's a whole industry on attack that shows huge discrepancy about what we can call fair and just in this country, he said. Yep. Yeah. Mate, yeah, just try and have a contrarian opinion on a whole world of issues. Try and raise that in public. Try and invite speakers over. Try and be Lawrence Southern and go speak to people on the street in certain suburbs of Sydney. See what happens. See what happens. Despite Dr. Delforce continuing her role as an agricultural official, a spokesman for Trade Minister Simon Birmingham said the investigation should be a wake-up call to all government employees. The minister hopes that this is a wake-up call to all government employees to be more mindful of avoiding the creation of any perceptions, real or otherwise, of support for actions that are so demonstrably in conflict with government policy, the spokesman said. The minister has been notified that action has been taken in relation to the staff member involved and how the department manages conflict of interest. How? What have they done? Mr. Birmingham and DFAT would not say what actions have been taken against Dr. Delforce. Well, we can assume from this article that the actions taken were to edit their manual. The Weekly Times recently revealed Dr. Delforce's personal Facebook showed she publicly liked posts linked to Aussie Farms, as well as the Federal and Victorian Animal Justice Party pages, and 15 other pages associated with animal liberation. Following this revelation, Dr. Delforce unliked these pages. DFAT's Conduct and Ethics Manual states that on social media, it is not appropriate for staff to make comment that is or could be reasonably perceived to be compromising your capacity to fulfill your duties in an unbiased manner. Well, see, I don't agree with this. Staff should be allowed to do whatever they want with regards to their freedom of speech. That's fine. But if they are unable to fulfill their job, well, shouldn't that be taken into account? And before I get people going, but you defended, Izzy's comments, that's very different. That wasn't related directly to his employment or to his capacity to work. Where here, it is. This is quite contrary. This is the contrary position to farming, liberating animals from farms. The conflict of interest chapter in the manual on the DFAT website also states all department staff must take reasonable steps to avoid situations where their private, financial or other interest, or those of immediate family members, such as spouse or partners, could be perceived to conflict with official duties. I've already read that. DFAT did not say if this statement was included in its reissued chapter on conflicts of interest. The department has not published its changes on the revision history section of the DFAT website, which previous changes to the manual have been documented. DFAT Secretary Francis Adamson said late last year, the Conduct and Ethics Manual is the principal source of departmental guidance and policy on conduct and ethics issues for all. Well, I somehow suspect we are never going to see this request. Once again, we'll put a freedom of information request in, and it will probably be ignored. It will probably be ignored, as it always is, in public interest, perhaps. I mean, they have to protect their own. They have to protect their own. They're civil servants. I just keep thinking of the Yes Minister or Yes Prime Minister episode where they release all this information and it's just the title and everything else is blacked out to protect one of the civil servants who does stuff up. I mean, what do you think, guys? Sound dodgy? Sound fair? Just another rent-seeking bureaucrat? Let me know in the comments. Like, share and subscribe. Spread the word on this, because more people need to be made aware. More people need to be made aware. And guys, if you enjoy my content, would like to help support it, I have a Patreon and Subscribestar. I also have affiliate links you can use, and I appreciate all your help. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.